I have no knowledge of how the sphere itself happened to be in the place where I found it.
Terry Betz found on his island property.
He has a friend over, and as he's playing the guitar, the sphere suddenly starts to come alive.
Imagine discovering a shiny metal orb in the aftermath of a brush fire on your own property. The air is thick with the scent of smoke as you assess the damage when something strange catches your eye. There it is, almost deliberately placed, a smooth, metallic sphere. This was exactly the experience of the Betz family in 1974 on Fort George Island near Jacksonville, Florida. Little did they know that this mysterious object would consume their lives, attract government attention, and spark countless theories. The mystery of the Betz sphere has puzzled scientists and conspiracy theorists for decades. Today, we're exploring its bizarre story and revealing a shocking truth that, frankly, isn't good news at all. Historical recap. So let's rewind to that fateful day in 1974. Antoine and Jerry Betz, along with their son Terry, were inspecting their land after a brush fire when they stumbled upon something out of the ordinary. Among the charred remains of the fire, they found a gleaming metallic orb. It was about 8 inches in diameter, completely smooth, seamless, and unusually heavy for its size, weighing around 22 pounds. Its surface was so polished that it reflected sunlight, almost like a mirror. They were baffled, and rightly so. There was no logical reason for it to be there. Naturally, curiosity got the better of them, and they decided to take it home, figuring it might be some kind of scientific instrument, military equipment, or maybe even a rare artifact. But little did they know, this seemingly innocent decision would soon lead them into a series of unexplainable events. It wasn't long before the family noticed something very strange. This wasn't just any ordinary metal ball. The sphere seemed alive, almost as if it had a mind of its own. And this, my friends, is where the real mystery begins. Media frenzy. As word spread about the mysterious object, journalists from around the world flocked to the Betz home, eager to see this anomaly for themselves. Even a photographer who came in as a skeptic left convinced after watching the sphere move on its own. News outlets quickly dubbed it the Betz sphere, and suddenly the family was at the center of a media circus. Reporters, photographers, and even curious locals crowded around their homes, all hoping to witness this extraordinary object in action. The Betz family, once living in relative obscurity, were thrust into the spotlight, but along with all the attention came even more questions, and no real answers. Soon, scientists from across various disciplines were drawn in, eager to study the strange metallic sphere. Experts from the U.S. Navy and other institutions arrived to examine it firsthand. Initial tests revealed that the sphere was made of high-quality stainless steel, which in itself wasn't particularly unusual. But what baffled the scientists was what they discovered inside the sphere. X-rays showed 3 smaller orbs nestled within the larger shell, and these inner spheres appeared to have some form of internal wiring or components attached to them. This immediately sparked a whirlwind of speculation. Was it some kind of advanced military technology, perhaps a secret project that had been lost? Or could it be an extraterrestrial device, dropped here from beyond Earth? Theories ranged from the plausible to the outlandish. Yet no one could explain how the smaller spheres and their intricate wiring were placed inside the larger orb, as there were no visible seams or entry points. It was as if the entire structure had been manufactured in one piece, an impossible feat with current technology. And so the mystery of the Betz sphere only deepened, raising more questions than answers, and leaving everyone who came into contact with it utterly perplexed. Theories, conspiracy speculation. And of course, as with anything shrouded in mystery, the UFO theories took off almost immediately. People started speculating that the Betz sphere was no ordinary object. It had to be an alien artifact, sent to Earth for some advanced surveillance mission, or perhaps even an extraterrestrial weapon of sorts. It might sound wild, but the bizarre behavior of the sphere, its erratic movements, its resistance to scientific explanation, gave these ideas a sense of plausibility to those who believed in life beyond Earth. But here's where things take an even darker turn. Rumors started circulating that the U.S. government was far more interested in the sphere than they were letting on. Some conspiracy theorists speculated that military officials who had examined the sphere had downplayed its significance in public while secretly attempting to acquire it for their own purposes. Was this object really a piece of advanced technology, either foreign or extraterrestrial, that could potentially shift the balance of power? It wasn't just the US government that seemed to take interest. There were whispers that foreign governments were also attempting to get their hands on this enigmatic object. Offers started pouring in, some reportedly as high as $750,000, equivalent to around $4 million in today's terms. Everyone seemed to want a piece of the Betz sphere, but despite the substantial sums being offered, the Betz family refused to sell it. Perhaps they feared what might happen if this mysterious object fell into the wrong hands, or maybe they were simply too curious to let it go. Whatever their reasoning, they chose to hold on to it, keeping the sphere under their control. But that decision may have come at a price. It wasn't just the physical sphere that they were safeguarding. It was the attention, the rumors, and the weight of potential danger that came with it. By keeping the object, they were also keeping themselves at the center of a mystery that was growing larger and darker by the day. Could this unexplained artifact bring harm to them or the world? Many began to wonder if the Betz family had bitten off more than they could chew. The dark twist. As time passed, things became even more complicated and unsettling. The Betz family began noticing unusual and suspicious activity around their property. Strangers were spotted lurking nearby, and they couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. One incident stood out in particular. A man claiming to be a repairman attacked Jerry Betz, leaving the family shaken. This wasn't just paranoia anymore. They felt like they were being targeted. But by whom? Some suspected it was a foreign government interested in the mysterious object, while others thought it could be a secretive group aiming to exploit the sphere's potential power. Then something truly unthinkable happened. The Betz sphere vanished. Well, it didn't disappear in the literal sense, but it was switched or stolen without the family knowing. After attending an event in New Orleans, they decided to have the sphere re-examined, hoping to gain more insights into its inner workings. But what they discovered left them horrified. When they had it X-rayed again, the interior was drastically different. Gone were the 3 small spheres they had originally seen inside. Instead, there was nothing but dust, and the once magnetic properties that had fascinated scientists? Gone too. This wasn't the same sphere the Betzes had discovered on their property in 1974. It had been replaced with an imposter, an empty shell devoid of its mysterious powers. The family was left with more questions than ever before. Who took the original sphere? Was it the government, a foreign agency, or some other shadowy organization? And perhaps the most pressing question, why was the real Betz sphere stolen or swapped out? Whatever the answer, one thing was clear. The mystery had taken a darker, more sinister turn, and the true fate of the Betz sphere remains unknown to this day. The shocking truth. Now here's the part you've been waiting for. The final revelation. After years of wild speculation and seemingly endless mystery, new evidence finally emerged that pointed to a rather unsettling conclusion. It turns out the Betz sphere wasn't extraterrestrial at all. In fact, it may not have even been unique. Extensive research eventually led investigators to a more mundane explanation. The sphere could very well have been a ball check valve, a piece of industrial machinery used in pipelines. Stainless steel balls like this one were common in local factories at the time. And then there was a local artist who claimed the sphere had actually fallen off his Volkswagen bus while traveling through the area. Yes, you heard that right. The same object that baffled scientists and sparked alien theories for decades could have been nothing more than lost industrial equipment mistakenly picked up and transformed into a global enigma. So what about all the strange behaviors that the Betz family experienced? Well, it turns out there are some pretty logical explanations for those too. The Betz home had uneven floors, and the sphere itself was nearly perfectly balanced, which could explain its seemingly unexplainable rolling tendencies. Instead of an intelligent alien device, it may have just been physics at play, creating the illusion that the sphere had a mind of its own. As for the strange hums and vibrations, the family reported, some scientists now believe that those could be attributed to simple acoustic resonance. Essentially, the sphere's hollow structure may have reacted to sound waves in a way that made it seem like it was humming or vibrating. But before you think this case is fully closed, there's still one nagging detail. How did the sphere end up in the middle of nowhere, on the Betz family's land, amidst the aftermath of a brush fire? If it was just a piece of industrial equipment, why wasn't it found earlier or recognized by someone in the area? And more mysteriously, who switched the original sphere? Who left the Betz family with an empty shell when the magnetic properties and inner spheres vanished? These lingering questions leave room for doubt. While the ball valve theory might provide some answers, it doesn't quite feel like the full story, does it? The strange behaviors, the eerie switch, and the government's interests still make this a mystery that refuses to be completely solved. It's almost as if, no matter how much logic we try to apply, the Betz sphere still holds on to its secrets. So, was the mystery of the Betz sphere really solved, or did we just find the most convenient answer? One thing is for sure, this story has left its mark on history, reminding us that sometimes the line between science and the supernatural is thinner than we think. And even if the truth is grounded in something as mundane as a piece of industrial equipment, the Betz sphere will always symbolize our endless curiosity about the unknown. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell.